Hello, YouTubers. Elsie Butcher here, your antipodean of incontrovertible truth and proof. Today is Friday, April 27th, 2018, and the title of today's teaching is The Greatest Hoax This Side of Heaven, Part 1. Recently, I saw a video on YouTube about a woman, a scammer, that bilked countless numbers of people out of their money by lying to them about her trustworthiness and foolproof methods of attaining material and financial wealth. I first heard this woman's pitch on a public television station. So convincing was she that TV celebrities, a senator, a bank, and many others of society's famous people backed her and endorsed her sales pitches. You can check out this video on YouTube titled How Suze Orman Scammed the Poor and the World. And the word Suze, the name Suze, is spelled S-U-Z-E. It is a video by filmmaker and award-winning author and journalist Sharon Jones. This filmmaker, author, journalist, to her disappointment, in the early 1990s helped Suze Orman onto the public stage despite Miss Orman's lack of credentials and lack of education. Ms. Jones says that one of Suze's business partners calls her the meanest woman he has ever met, and apparently Ms. Jones concurs. In one of Miss Orman's schemes, she introduced a prepaid debit card that she said could potentially generate a FICO credit score. It was a devious scheme that caused listeners that embraced her pitch to become victims and to cause their family members and friends to embrace and become victims also. Some financial experts, through magazines and newsletters, warned people that what Miss Orman was selling was not advice for potential safe investment opportunities, but Suze, her supporters refuted them on every hand. Two others of Suze's predictions for financial gain included buying gold and houses at high rates that plummeted after her advice was taken. These schemes failed just as her approved debit card scheme failed and helped to expose her as a scam artist. But it seemed that Miss Orman could talk her way out of anything. Miss Jones calls Suze a financial actress, a person who caused those that listened to and followed her advice to lose their homes and their money while Suze became rich. There is an analogy between Suze Orman's lack of good character and the impersonators I present to you in this teaching. By the end of this series of teachings, perhaps you will better understand what motivated Miss Orman to make the decisions that she did. Once more, the title of today's teaching is The Greatest Hoax This Side of Heaven, Part 1. What is a hoax? Answer: a hoax is something that has been established or has been caused to be recognized and or accepted by fraudulent means or by ways that are deceitful, intentionally misleading, dishonest, and mendacious or untruthful. For example, most of the people I know or have come into contact with or have read about, etc., believe that the term God, G-O-D, means an entity that causes mankind to exist or to have life. That is, the quality or distinguishing property that causes one to perceive living persons as being distinctly different from the dead. However, my research shows that this is not so. Let's look closely at the so-called life that comes from God. And I mean the God of the Bible, since until recently, people had to swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help them God. In most American courtrooms, regardless of their religious affiliations, this same God is the God referred to as the one who is trusted on all United States legal tender or money. Also, the Latin phrase annuit coeptis, meaning God has smiled upon our undertakings, is on the back of the Great Seal found in the Oval Office of the President of the United States of America. John 5:26 says, "As the Father hath life in himself, so hath he given life to the Son, Jesus, to have life in himself." Verse 27, "And hath given Jesus authority to execute judgment also, because he is the Son of Man." Let's see what the phrase life in himself actually means. First, the word life. It is taken from two Greek words, zeo, Z-A-O, and zoe, Z-O-E, meaning animal quickness. The characteristic of transmigrated souls that are quickened, animated, or roused to activity, aroused to movement. Second, in himself means by a constructive instrumentality or a helpful means at his beck and call that is near him. So what is meant by the word means? It is something that causes animation or arousal in these transmigrated souls of fallen, unclean, dead people. The word means, M-E-A-N-S, has the synonym in the thesaurus of food. So it is food that animates these souls. In this case, the word food is defined in the appendix section of the American Heritage Dictionary as sacrifices, or living persons offered as homage, H-O-M-A-G-E, or vassals of service, slaves to these fallen, unclean spirits, aka deities, gods and goddesses of the underworld. The sacrificed individuals were to serve or to fulfill and satisfy the needs or desires of these covetous evil spirits through fear and a sense of obligation. The word coveting includes these meanings: envy or hatred, ill will, and the desire to own the advantages and the possessions that belong to others. In Merriam-Webster's dictionary, the word influence can be divided as the prefix in plus the root word fluids plus the suffix ence, or fluids, gases or vapors that flow into in order to corruptly interfere with authority for personal gain or for the acquiring of persons by craft or by cunning. The word gain, G-A-I-N, is defined as being akin to an Old High German word meaning to hunt for food, and an Old English word meaning to pursue, or to follow or chase persons so as to overtake, to capture, to defeat, to afflict, or to disorder, meaning to disarrange, to put out of an orderly arrangement, to distress, to cause sorrow, misery, and suffering to, and to pain, to give punishment, injury, disease, as well as to aggrieve, to slight, to neglect, to disrespect, or to work evil toward. That means to molest, to harass, to wrong, to dishonor, to treat badly or unjustly. To be a presence, an assemblage or a collection to frequent or to haunt, to annoy or to pester habitually or constantly. and an Old English word meaning to pursue, to follow or to follow or chase persons so as to overtake and capture them. To be a presence, I said, a collection, a store, or a stock deposit, a lifeless family, placed as a pledge, a binding promise in order to frequent or to haunt, to annoy or pester, I said, to habitually and constantly be a bother to persons, as well as to oppress, to crush, to break, meaning to force entry into those people, to violate, to profane, to debase by using wrongly, unworthily, and vulgarly, to repress, to hold them back by hindering the progress of and by restraining, restricting, or keeping under control, to limit the effect of and to deprive of freedom, additionally to suppress, to keep back from being known or from being recognized as distinguished or remarkable, uncommon, and worthy of notice, that is, to be heeded or paid close attention to keep back from being celebrated, being honored and praised publicly. Also, to subjugate, to cause these persons to become subservient, servile, slaves, and to domineer, to bully, to tyrannize, or to govern with injustice and cruelty, to rule over arrogantly, with unwarranted pride, or with self-respect that is not justified, to impose, to force one's opinions and wishes upon without invitation. This is the end of part one, and once again, I am Elsie Butcher, your Antipodean, Antipodean, of truth and incontrovertible proof. Please subscribe, and thanks for listening.